The most dangerous people aren't the obvious villains, they are the ones whose souls are absent, hiding in plain sight. That's why certain relationships leave you exhausted, confused, or questioning your own instincts. You feel manipulated, drained, or unsettled, and you can't always put your finger on why. Most of us assume that charm, intelligence, or success equals empathy, but often the opposite is true. Psychologists, behavioral researchers, and mystics all warn that soulless people operate on energy, not emotion. They subtly siphon your vitality while leaving no visible trace, and their influence is rarely obvious. By the end of this video, you'll know how to recognize the hidden signs before it's too late. You'll learn how to protect your energy, reclaim your power, and see people as they truly are, beyond the masks they wear. Soulless people are not always immediately obvious. At first glance, they can seem charismatic, intelligent, or even magnetic. There is a kind of deceptive vitality in their presence, a performance of life that convinces most that they are fully human, fully engaged. But this is only a surface impression, a thin veil over a deeper emptiness. Their energy lacks depth, and this is often where the first subtle signs emerge. Being around them feels different. It is not dramatic or overtly hostile. It is subtle, almost imperceptible to the casual observer. But to someone sensitive to energy, there is a disturbance, a sense of imbalance. Conversations with them can feel like a drain, not because they are overtly demanding or manipulative, but because they cannot reflect the fullness of life. You might leave interactions with them feeling inexplicably tired, emotionally exhausted, or hollow, as if a part of your own vitality has been quietly siphoned away. There is a subtle tension, like walking through a room where the light has been dimmed without notice. These individuals struggle to genuinely connect with others. Their empathy is superficial, a mimicry of understanding rather than true resonance. They observe emotions and then imitate them, not from compassion, but as a strategy to blend in, to navigate social landscapes without engaging in the authentic work of soulfulness. In subtle ways, their lack of true feeling manifests in conversations that feel flat, in laughter that is slightly off, in eyes that seem to miss something essential. One of the most revealing signs is how they respond to suffering, both their own and that of others. A soulless person rarely experiences true compassion or remorse. Pain, injustice, and vulnerability are treated as inconveniences or opportunities for calculation rather than experiences that elicit genuine reflection or care. In their presence, joy may be feigned, sadness may be mocked, and subtle moral boundaries may be ignored. Yet it is rarely violent or overt. It is the quiet absence, the missing resonance, that signals the deeper truth. The soul is not engaged. Beyond interpersonal dynamics, the soulless influence the spaces they inhabit. Their energy subtly bends social interactions and emotional atmospheres. Gatherings may feel heavier, conversations may become shallow, and unspoken tension seems to linger. The very flow of energy is affected. This is why intuition is such a crucial tool. The universe signals the absence of depth through micro-frictions that cannot be explained logically. There is a faint but persistent sense of wrongness, an unease that colors the perception of reality. They are also unable to sustain long-term alignment with higher truths. While they may speak of dreams, ideals, or spiritual concepts, these words are hollow. They have not integrated the wisdom or insight they recite. It is an external performance. This lack of integration is a core feature of soullessness. It is not merely a behavioral pattern, but a metaphysical absence, a void in the reflection and harmonization of mind, heart, and spirit. In relationships, this manifests as a subtle imbalance of give and take. They take without truly offering, consume without cultivating, and mimic life without experiencing it. The consequences are rarely immediate or obvious. They unfold over months and years, gradually eroding vitality, creating confusion, and amplifying existential tension. Those who interact with them may feel trapped in patterns of subtle exhaustion, questioning their own perceptions, doubting their intuition, and sometimes even blaming themselves for the malaise they sense but cannot fully articulate. Yet, even in this complexity, there is an opportunity for insight. Recognizing these patterns is not about judgment, it is about perception and discernment. Understanding how the presence of soullessness manifests allows one to navigate the world with heightened awareness. One begins to see not only the obvious aspects of human behavior, but the hidden energetic currents that influence thought, emotion, and choice. This recognition is subtle, but it carries immense power. The ability to honor your own soul, to protect your energy, and to move through life with greater clarity and alignment. Ultimately, understanding the shadow of soullessness is an invitation to awaken to the deeper textures of reality. It is an acknowledgement that life is composed not just of material interactions, but of invisible currents, unseen resonances, and subtle presences. By perceiving the void where presence should be, you cultivate a refined consciousness that can sense the integrity of soulfulness in others, navigate relationships with discernment, and engage with the world on a higher vibrational plane. In this awareness, life itself becomes a mirror, reflecting not only the presence of others, but the depth of your own resonance. There is a fracture in perception when it comes to recognizing soulless individuals, and it is far more elusive than most realize. You might be tempted to label them as simply cruel, selfish, or manipulative. That would be convenient, but the truth is far more subtle and far more unsettling. Soulless people often hide their emptiness behind layers of imitation. They are skilled at reflection without depth, at mimicry without feeling. They can repeat gestures of kindness, compassion, or even inspiration, but these are echoes, not originating from the center of a lived, resonant soul. You may find yourself wondering why someone so seemingly engaged in life can leave you feeling hollowed out, confused, or off balance. The answer lies in the invisible fracture within them, a division between form and essence. They act as if they participate in the rhythms of life, but the core of experience is absent. Their laughter may echo, but it lacks warmth. Their concern may appear, but it carries no weight. And yet this absence is nearly impossible to quantify. It does not announce itself loudly, it does not scream for attention, it whispers, and it is in the whisper that truth resides. One of the most astonishing aspects of this fracture is how convincingly it can be concealed. A soulless person can live for decades among others, seemingly integrated into communities, families, and relationships, and few will notice the absence of authentic resonance. People are inclined to fill gaps with assumptions of normalcy. Minds strive for coherence, and illusions of depth are compelling. A smile, a witty remark, a display of intellect, all these can convince observers that the person is whole. And yet, if you are attuned, you sense the discrepancy. There is a faint misalignment in the energy they radiate, a subtle friction in the way they occupy space. This hidden fracture is most apparent in moments of vulnerability or uncertainty. When life tests authenticity through crisis, emotional exposure, or moral challenge, the absence of soul cannot be sustained behind the mask. Empathy falters, insight falters, and a strange emptiness manifests. The world feels flat in their presence, the richness of experience diluted, as if their internal void is subtly reshaping the space around them. Those who are sensitive to energy, those who carry soulfulness deeply, perceive it instantly, even if they cannot immediately articulate it. The fracture also operates in imitation of life's rhythms. A soulless person may speak of love, hope, or spirituality, but their words are empty vessels. They have no lived history of connection or insight to fill them. They may recall lessons, repeat aphorisms, and project ideals, yet these are superficial echoes, sound without substance. This is why the subtle unease you feel in their presence is so profound. Your intuition is recognizing absence, and the mind struggles to rationalize it because the individual presents all the markers of engagement. It is the tension between form and essence that signals the fracture. Furthermore, the consequences of this hidden emptiness ripple outward. Relationships, collaborations, and communities are subtly affected. Choices are influenced, energies diverted, emotional climates altered. The world may continue to function seemingly unaffected, but beneath the surface, the subtle currents of influence are redirected, leaving faint distortions that accumulate over time. Recognizing this is not an exercise in fear or judgment. It is an awakening to the truth of resonance itself. The absence of depth is as real and consequential as the presence of light. In understanding the fracture, you gain a unique kind of clarity. It is a perception that transcends conventional observation. You begin to notice the rhythms, the silences, and the inconsistencies in those around you. You learn to feel the vibrational signature of authenticity versus mimicry, substance versus shadow. This insight does not make life easier in a superficial sense, it makes life more real. You cannot unsee what is absent, but you can navigate interactions with a heightened sense of discernment, aligning yourself with those whose presence sustains rather than diminishes you. Ultimately, the hidden fracture is a reminder of what it means to be alive in fullness. Soullessness is not simply an attribute of others, it is a reflection of the invisible threads that connect all conscious beings. By perceiving absence, you perceive life itself in a new dimension. You become attuned to the subtle vibrations that indicate depth, integrity, and resonance. You learn that the true measure of a person is not what they show, but the energy they carry, the presence they sustain, and the way they reflect the soul's fullness. Awareness of this fracture is not merely knowledge, it is a gateway to a higher perception of reality, one in which the hidden currents of existence are no longer hidden to you. To truly understand soullessness, one must move beyond conventional labels of psychology or morality. It is not simply cruelty, selfishness, or malice. It is a metaphysical absence, a distortion in the very architecture of consciousness. Imagine consciousness as a river of energy, flowing through time, thought, and emotion. A person with soul participates in this flow. Their presence resonates, amplifies, and reflects the currents of life. A soulless individual, however, does not resonate. They absorb without contributing, mirror without reflecting, exist without creating. The flow bends around them, subtle yet perceptible, and the world itself feels the friction of this absence. This emptiness is not only social or emotional, it is energetic and spiritual. The soul, at its core, is the medium through which authenticity, empathy, and awareness are expressed. It is the channel through which humans align with reality in its multidimensional totality. When that channel is absent, the consequences ripple beyond immediate interactions. Their influence is subtle, but profound. It manifests as confusion in relationships, erosion of trust, and invisible tension in environments. A workplace, a home, or even a casual conversation can carry faint echoes of imbalance because someone present cannot anchor themselves in resonance. Soullessness also creates an illusion of normalcy. These individuals may appear successful, charming, or even morally upright. Their mimicry of life is sophisticated. They know the social cues, the rituals, the words that create the impression of depth. Yet their reflection is hollow, a shadow without substance. They may speak of love, honor, or spirituality, but these concepts are never inhabited, only repeated. In their presence, joy is muted, grief is displaced, and subtle ethical misalignments ripple outwards without being consciously recognized. For those attuned, the effect is unmistakable, a quiet nagging sense that something fundamental is absent. The metaphysical consequences extend further. A human soul does not exist in isolation. It interacts with the larger currents of consciousness, with life's hidden architecture. Soullessness interrupts these currents. Their actions, though superficially coherent, fail to align with the deeper harmonics of reality. Decisions may appear rational but lack wisdom. Actions may seem kind but lack integrity. The energy they generate is inert, neither constructive nor creative, and yet it exerts an almost magnetic influence on the subtle world. Over time, these distortions accumulate. Relationships stagnate, group dynamics falter. Even reality itself seems to subtly resist their influence. Recognizing this is not merely about self-preservation, it is a form of awakening. To see soullessness is to perceive absence as clearly as presence. To understand that reality is not only composed of what exists, but of what is missing, what fails to resonate. Those who can perceive this are gifted a rare vision, the ability to navigate human interaction with extraordinary precision, to protect their own energy, and to align with the deeper currents of life without interference from emptiness. This understanding transforms perception. Ordinary events take on a new dimension. Conversations are no longer evaluated solely on words, but on the resonance behind them. Actions are interpreted not merely by their surface intent, but by the vibrational signature they carry. Through this lens, life becomes both clearer and more demanding. One must cultivate discernment, attentiveness, and energetic integrity. Recognition of soullessness is not a judgment, it is a metaphysical tool, a guide through the hidden layers of reality. Moreover, the insight extends inward. By witnessing absence in others, you are invited to examine presence within yourself. You begin to perceive how your own soul resonates, how your energy aligns with truth, and how your being interacts with the invisible architecture of life. The process is transformative. Awareness of soullessness is inseparable from the cultivation of depth, empathy, and authenticity in oneself. In this way, the external observation becomes internal illumination. Ultimately, understanding the anatomy of emptiness is a call to higher consciousness. It teaches that life is not simply a collection of actions or intentions, but a web of resonance, an intricate dance between being and absence, energy and inertia. It reveals that the true measure of humanity is not behavior alone, but the alignment of thought, emotion, and spirit with the flow of life. And in grasping this, you are offered one of the most profound gifts imaginable: the ability to move through existence attuned to the subtle, invisible truths that govern reality itself, discerning the living currents of presence from the shadow of absence. You may have already encountered soulless individuals without fully realizing it. Perhaps it was a colleague whose charm never quite felt sincere, a friend who seemed to vanish when difficulty arose, or even a loved one whose words and gestures rang hollow beneath the surface. At first, you might have brushed it off as coincidence, mood, or misunderstanding. But the lingering sense of unease, the subtle tension that remained even after the interaction ended, is real. That feeling is your own soul speaking. It recognizes resonance and absence in ways your conscious mind cannot always articulate. Feeling drained or emotionally unsettled around certain people is not weakness. It is evidence of your awareness, your sensitivity, and your alignment with life's deeper currents. Your energy is attuned to the integrity of consciousness, and when that energy meets emptiness, friction occurs. This friction is not external, it is relational. It is a reflection of your own depth meeting a void, a subtle mirror that teaches awareness. What you feel is the echo of life itself, reminding you to safeguard your vitality and honor your inner boundaries. You may have questioned yourself in these moments. Am I too sensitive? Am I overthinking? Why do I feel this way? These questions are valid, but the truth is that your perception is accurate. The unease is a form of innate intelligence. Your soul senses what your mind struggles to define. The absence of alignment, the lack of authentic presence, the invisible void that subtly shifts interactions and atmospheres. Recognizing this truth is not a condemnation of others, it is a revelation of your own attunement. The experience of interacting with soulless people also serves as a mirror, reflecting the integrity and presence within yourself. It highlights the contrast between resonance and emptiness, prompting deeper inquiry into how you inhabit your own life. You begin to notice how your thoughts, emotions, and actions contribute to the invisible web of influence around you. Are you living fully from your own soul, or are you unconsciously mimicking patterns that dilute your energy? Encountering absence in others can awaken presence within you. This connection is deeply human. It is not theoretical or abstract. It manifests in subtle ways: a quick exhaustion after a conversation, a creeping doubt when their influence lingers, or a quiet sense of liberation when you create distance. It is the body, mind, and soul responding to authenticity, or the lack thereof. When you honor these signals, you align with life's hidden intelligence. You protect your energy, cultivate clarity, and engage in relationships that reflect depth rather than depletion. It is important to understand that this is not about avoidance out of fear or judgment. It is about discernment, self-respect, and conscious engagement. You are not closing off from life. You are learning to navigate it with awareness. Your capacity to perceive absence allows you to engage with those who truly resonate, to form connections that nourish rather than drain, and to interact with the world from a position of integrity and soulfulness. In this intimate recognition, you find empowerment. You are not merely reacting to others, you are participating consciously in life's energetic architecture. Your awareness becomes a tool for alignment, a guide for cultivating presence, and a mirror of your own inner depth. The discomfort you feel in the presence of soullessness is not a burden. It is proof that you are awake, that your perception reaches beyond appearances, and that your soul is attuned to the subtle harmonics of reality. Ultimately, this personal connection teaches one of life's most profound lessons. The depth and presence of others reflect the depth and presence within yourself. By witnessing absence in others, you are invited to cultivate authenticity, resonance, and soulfulness in your own life. In doing so, you not only navigate the hidden currents of reality with precision and clarity, but you also honor the sacred essence of your own consciousness, preserving it as a luminous force in a world where emptiness often moves unnoticed. The presence of soullessness in the world is not merely a challenge to navigate, it is an invitation to awaken. Recognizing emptiness in others is only the beginning. The deeper, more transformative action lies within yourself, cultivating discernment, refining perception, and strengthening your own resonance. This is not a dramatic or external journey. It is subtle, internal, and profoundly mystical. It is about learning to walk unseen currents, to perceive the hidden flows of energy and consciousness that shape life itself. Begin by observing without judgment. Notice the patterns, the moments of subtle tension, the quiet dissonance that arises when presence meets absence. Do not seek to change others. They cannot awaken unless they choose to, but do observe the reflection of these dynamics in yourself. In doing so, you step into a higher level of consciousness, where the invisible architecture of reality becomes visible to you. The world is no longer a series of isolated events, it is a web of resonance, where the absence or presence of depth shapes outcomes in ways most cannot perceive. The next step is alignment. Your soul, your energy, your awareness must be anchored in authenticity. This means living in accordance with your inner truth, honoring your own integrity, and allowing your actions to reflect your highest understanding of reality. When you cultivate presence within, you create a field that resists the subtle drains of soullessness. You no longer absorb their energy. You are no longer unconsciously shaped by their absence. Instead, you move through life as a conscious participant, shaping interactions, relationships, and circumstances from a place of inner depth and sovereignty. This awakening is also a practice of discernment. Learn to sense subtle energy in others, to recognize the resonance of soul versus the hollow echo of mimicry. Trust your intuition, even when it cannot be logically explained. The smallest tensions, the faintest unease, are signals from the universe guiding your awareness. By listening and responding, you navigate life with heightened clarity, avoiding situations, relationships, or decisions that would diminish your vitality. Your energy becomes a compass, guiding you toward alignment and away from dissonance. Equally important is the cultivation of inner stillness. The awakened observer does not react impulsively, does not impose judgment, and does not attempt to fix or force transformation onto others. Instead, they maintain a luminous awareness, allowing subtle truths to reveal themselves in their own time. In this state, you begin to perceive life on multiple levels simultaneously. The surface actions, the emotional undertones, and the invisible vibrational patterns that shape reality. You move through the world with a quiet power, undistracted by illusions, attuned to truth, and aligned with your own essence. This is also a path of subtle influence. By anchoring presence within yourself, you radiate stability, clarity, and authenticity. Others may unconsciously mirror this resonance. In a world often dominated by shadow and absence, your conscious presence becomes a quiet force of transformation. You are not seeking recognition or control. You are cultivating a state of being that aligns with the deeper harmonics of existence. Finally, the call to awakening is an ongoing practice. It is not a single act, but a continuous cultivation of awareness, resonance, and inner sovereignty. Every interaction, every choice, every observation becomes an opportunity to refine your perception and deepen your alignment with life's subtle truths. In doing so, you transcend the invisible drains of soullessness, reclaim your vitality, and navigate existence as a conscious participant, awake to the hidden currents of reality that most overlook. By embracing this path, you move beyond fear, judgment, or reactive avoidance. You enter a state of subtle mastery, where the emptiness of others no longer diminishes you, where your soul radiates integrity, and where your presence shapes the unseen architecture of the world itself. This is the awakening, quiet, profound, and transformative, a shift that begins within and resonates outward into every interaction, every space, and every unseen corner of your life. In the quiet spaces between thought and awareness, the lesson of soullessness finally reveals itself. It is not merely an observation about others, it is a reflection of life itself. A reminder that existence is composed of presence and absence, resonance and void, engagement and emptiness. Those who lack soul do not merely live alongside us, they alter the currents of energy around them, creating subtle distortions that ripple through relationships, environments, and perception. Yet in recognizing these distortions, you touch the edges of something far greater, the invisible architecture of reality, the hidden harmonics of consciousness that govern existence itself. What you have learned is not knowledge in the ordinary sense. It is perception, a heightened attunement to the unseen currents that shape every interaction and every choice. You understand now that the measure of a person is not found in words, appearances, or even actions, but in the resonance that emanates from their presence. Presence itself becomes a living force, a guide through the unseen dimensions of life and a mirror for your own authenticity. This realization brings a profound clarity. You begin to see life as a tapestry woven not only of events but of energetic patterns, subtle alignments, and hidden harmonics. The world is no longer only what is visible, it is what is felt, what is sensed, what vibrates beneath the surface of experience. Each encounter, each relationship, each fleeting moment carries a weight far beyond comprehension, and your awareness becomes a compass, guiding you toward alignment, depth, and resonance. In the end, the knowledge of soullessness is not a burden, it is a gift. It illuminates the spaces where presence is vital and absence is costly. It teaches you to honor your own depth, to safeguard your vitality, and to cultivate interactions that resonate with the truth of your being. In perceiving emptiness, you awaken to fullness. In witnessing absence, you recognize the power of authentic presence. And in that recognition lies a subtle, sacred responsibility. To move through the world as a conscious participant, attuned to the hidden currents, anchored in your own soul, and aware of the delicate balance between light and shadow, presence and void. You carry with you a quiet mastery, the understanding that life is not only experienced but shaped by the resonance of being. As the world continues, filled with illusions, masks, and shadows, you now possess a vision few can access. You see the invisible fractures and the hidden harmonics. You understand the weight of absence, and you carry within you the clarity of presence. This is not a conclusion. It is a threshold, a doorway into deeper perception, a subtle awakening that does not announce itself but changes everything. And so, the cycle completes quietly, yet irrevocably. You have observed the void, felt its pull, and emerged not diminished but strengthened. Your soul, now more awake, radiates integrity and resonance. You move through existence aware that life is composed not merely of what is visible, but of what is alive, what vibrates, and what is truly present. The unseen currents are no longer invisible to you, and in that sight, the universe itself seems to whisper its hidden truths, inviting you to walk fully awake, fully alive, fully aligned with the essence of reality.